Hey creative friends, welcome to my channel. In this video, I am going to show you how I make fried chicken that isn't fried. It's done in the oven, and this is a recipe that's been around like forever. It's one of the Bisquick recipes. I'll put a link down in the bottom or in the description, because this recipe has been a Bisquick recipe on the Bisquick website and in books forever. And I actually came across this many years ago when I used to buy Bisquick. Now I make my own, but anyway, I never was a fan of frying. It used a lot of oil, fine, but I didn't like, it was hard for me to regulate the temperature. I'd either get it too hot or it wouldn't be hot enough, and then the splattering, and I just hated frying things in oil. And so when I came across this recipe, I was thrilled because it makes really good fried chicken. So I'll go over the ingredients for you, and I'll tell you really quick how you make it because it's super simple. First thing you need is your 9x13. I use this Pyrex dish, but whatever, as long as it's like a 9x13. I've got a good generous tablespoon of butter in there. I've got my oven set at 425, and I need to pop this in so that that butter will melt. It'll just take a couple of seconds. Actually, I'm not going to do it yet because I still have to coat these chicken pieces. So then, as far as the other ingredients, you use Bisquick. There's different kinds of all-purpose baking mix, and I did a video on how to make your own, and I can link it in the description if you want to make your own. Otherwise, just go get you some Bisquick and make this recipe because it's awesome. So what you'll also need is 2/3 of a cup of the original Bisquick baking mix. Let me get a fork so that I can mix this up. Okay, so 2/3 of a cup of Bisquick, and then you need 1½ teaspoons of paprika, which I have there, 1 1/4 teaspoons of salt right there, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and your chicken. And this is about a 4-pound chicken. Thing I like about this is I had these done at the butcher's, and the breasts on these chicken are so big, and it's just Brian and I, so I will cut the breast in half so it's like thigh size, because that's a lot of meat, and having that big there you go, that big is a big piece of meat, so that gives me 2 extra pieces, which is nice. So I'll do that. But what we're going to do is we're going to put this pan in the oven at 425 to melt the butter in the pan. And then meanwhile, oh, I want to move these. I want to move this rack real quick because I had it down there. Let me get that out of the way. Perfect. Now let me pop this in the oven. And that's just going to take a couple of minutes to melt, and then I'm going to set it here. Meanwhile, I'm going to take this Bisquick and all these powder ingredients, and I'm just going to mix these up. Now when that butter is melted, I'm going to take each of these pieces of chicken, and I'm going to coat them in the baking mixture here, the Bisquick mixture, and then I lay them skin side down in that melted butter in that baking dish, and they'll cook at this 425 for about 35 minutes. After that, you take them and you pull it out and you turn them over and let them go for about 15 more minutes, and they turn out perfect every single time. Super good. So let me check and see if that butter's melted yet. No, it'll be just a few minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause you, and I'll come back when the butter's melted and I'm ready to coat this chicken and put it in the pan. So the butter is melted in the bottom of the pan. You can see it, and I just kind of rolled it around so it coats the bottom of the pan. I went ahead while I was waiting for that butter to melt, and I coated a few pieces of the chicken. So I just pressed it in there and got it nice and coated, and then we're going to put it skin side down in this pan. I like to get it in the butter, kind of snug it over in the corner there. We'll get this piece coated. And I like to press it in all the areas. I like to pull it out and make sure all those bits of chicken are coated. I like to put the thicker pieces on the outside also, and because they take a little bit longer, and this way they're kind of exposed to more intense heat along the outside. I'll get the thigh now. We'll get these done. I'm so excited. I love this. I love this chicken. And then, of course, I'm going to take a little bit of this coating and put it over the chicken too. Put this one right here. There we go. Get the legs done. And this one, and then I got my 2 wings, and they'll go in there, and then we'll just set the time for 35 minutes. And then we turn them all over and let them go for another 15. So they will be perfect. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there. Last one. And the paprika and it just gives it such a good flavor. The salt, pepper, and paprika is very simple, but it's good. Okay, there we have that. Now, I'm just going to sprinkle a little of this on there because it adds for the little crunchies. Okay. Now there you have it. That is ready to go in the oven. I'm going to put it in the oven, and remember that's at 425 for 35 minutes, and I'll bring you back when I show you when I'm going to turn it. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek in there. You see, you can already hear it sizzling. So good. And I did these split potatoes where you just take them and you split them in little slices, but don't go all the way through so they stay together. And then drizzle them with olive oil and salt and pepper. So that's going to go together. All right, the timer just went off, so let me get this chicken out. Woo! You can hear it sizzling away. Oh, yes. So good. Okay, now I'm just going to turn these pieces over. And I just love this. It cooks perfect, and it's, oh, look. Turn all these pieces over, and they'll go for 15 more minutes in the oven. Did I turn that one? Nope. Okay. One of those big breast pieces right there. Alright, so those are done. Now I'm going to put these back in the oven for another 15 minutes, and then the next time the buzzer goes, they'll be done. So we'll be right back. Alright, my 15 minutes is up. Let me get these out of the oven. Oh, it's perfect. Okay. Doesn't that look good? You hear it sizzling away. Now I'm going to cut into one. I always do, just to make sure. I mean, I know they're done, but hey, let's just cut into one and see how juicy and perfect. Ooh, look. Let me see if I can pull that away for you. And get a fork. Okay. There we have the middle of this beautiful piece of chicken. Look at that. So good. All right, I'm going to plate it up, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all plated up. There we have 2 wonderful meals with the oven fried chicken. There's my piece, and there's Brian. He always likes the thigh and leg. And the potatoes, they're just sliced thin like that. Drizzle a little olive oil, a little salt and pepper, and then I always put a little dollop of butter on top because they're nice and hot, and that will melt in. And so there you have it. The oven fried chicken. That's an old recipe from Bisquick, which is awesome. Super good. I hope you guys try it. I'll put the link to the Bisquick website where you can see this recipe, and I will also try to put the link to the all-purpose baking mix video that I did to show you how, in case you don't have Bisquick, you can put this together at least for a great meal. So there you have it, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.